Paris, Las Vegas. Despite its unbeatable Central Strip location, it still tends to be a little bit overshadowed by some of its more renowned neighbors, including Bellagio, the Cosmopolitan, and Caesar's Palace. But with a newly renovated tower, can Paris finally give these other properties a run for their money?
Spoiler alert. Yeah, I think it can.
In this video, I'm going to show you everything that Paris Las Vegas has to offer, including the newly renovated rooms, dining options, the pool, and the fitness center. And at the end of this video, I'll give you my final rating so that you can determine if this hotel is a good option for you. So without further ado, let's get started with a property overview. Paris Las Vegas first opened in 1999 with close to 3,000 rooms. Modeled after the capital of France, a considerable amount of planning and execution went into replicating the detailed architecture of this iconic European city. In front of the property, you'll find a 2/3 scale replica of the Arc de Triomphe, as well as a half-scale replica of the Eiffel Tower,
including an observation deck with one of the best views you'll find of the Las Vegas Strip.
We arrived for our 3-night stay about 45 minutes early, and were greeted at the check-in desk with an invitation to pay an early check-in fee, which we declined. An hour later, we secured our room key and made our way towards Horseshoe. Yes, that's right, Horseshoe. The newly renovated Versailles Tower, which we were staying in, was formerly a part of Bally's, which is now Horseshoe. Paris is in fact building a new walkway, but this has yet to be completed. So right now, this is definitely a negative, especially considering that the ambiance of Horseshoe is a step down from Paris. But in my eyes, it's really not a big deal. Personally, I don't mind walking. It's actually a good excuse to get in extra steps. Besides, it really only takes about 5 to 10 minutes from the Paris lobby, which to me is more than worth it, considering that this feels like a brand new tower once you ascend to your floor. Walking into the room and taking in that brand new smell, I was definitely satisfied. I think the quality of this room is comparable to the renovated Bellagio rooms. Maybe not quite that nice, but in my opinion, pretty close. And one advantage of this room over those rooms is that this one has floor-to-ceiling windows, and I'll show you the view in just a moment. The bathroom is on the smaller side, but it feels very modern and tastefully done. There were 2 issues that I'll address later, but really they weren't that big of a deal.
We just checked into our room at Paris, and I have to say I'm impressed. The room, you walk in, and it feels brand new. It has that brand new smell, as you would expect, considering it was recently remodeled. So in essence, it is brand new. The one main drawback of this room, if any, is that it's a bit of a walk from the main check-in area at Paris. This room is located in the Versailles Tower, which is formerly a part of Bally's, which is now Horseshoe. So this tower actually, it still looks terrible from the outside. It's an eyesore. But inside, the hallways, everything about this tower has been renovated. It feels very nice. It feels very upscale. To me, it feels like a 4-star property or even perhaps a 5-star property. And we have a really cool view of, as you can see behind me, of the Eiffel Tower, of Planet Hollywood directly in front of us, as well as the Bellagio fountains. So that's going to be incredible at night. One other small point I like about being in this tower versus the main tower at Paris is you can actually see Paris, which I think is really cool, which you would not be able to do if you were obviously staying in the main tower at Paris. So this room, not the biggest, as you can probably tell from the video clip of the tour, but everything feels very polished, very upscale, nice touches. So really didn't love, frankly, having to wait to check in till 3. We got here a little bit early, and previously we were staying at Excalibur, and we were able to check in at 10:30 a.m. So I don't think MGM is by any means perfect, but to me, a little bit more customer-centric, a little bit better experience in that regard. Caesars, you can go up to the desk at 2:50. You're not able to check in at 3, and they'll look at you with a straight face and ask you if you want to pay the early check-in fee. But nothing's perfect. No hotel is perfect. You have to set your expectations. Overall, given the fact that this property was recently renovated, the view that we have, so far satisfied, excited to show you what else this property has to offer. Night 1 dinner, and we are headed to Mon Ami Gabi.
Seeing Bellagio right to the left, it's incredible. We're about to dig into our bread.
The warm baguette they serve here is truly incredible, and I think it's a must if you visit. Next, we ordered the roast chicken a la grand-mère, which is served with thick cut bacon, sauteed mushrooms, and mashed potatoes. Then we also ordered the steak with béarnaise sauce. Both of these dishes really could not have been better, and we were both very happy. And then for dessert, we ordered the chocolate mousse, as well as the gala apple tart, which is served with vanilla ice cream. For dinner our second night, we headed downstairs to Vanderpump, which features an elaborate and eclectic ambiance that we were looking forward to. We started off with the stuffed baguette with brie and truffle. They tasted good, but we were actually shocked at how small they were. Definitely would not recommend that one. Then we ordered the chicken pot pie and the steak pot pie.
It was so good.
They were both good, but not very filling. So we decided to order 3 desserts, including the chocolate bread pudding, the chocolate mousse bites, and the creme brulee beignets. These desserts were heavenly and definitely the silver lining of the meal. They were also incredibly rich, to the point that we couldn't even finish them. So we just finished dinner at Vanderpump. Erin, what did you think?
I loved it. The ambiance was amazing. The food, I would say some of the items we got were overpriced, but you're paying for ambiance.
Yeah, well said. I would agree. Overall, it was a positive experience. I think Mon Ami Gabi last night was better. Mon Ami Gabi is the champ for restaurants in Paris. One of the best restaurants overall in Vegas. But this was a good experience. The appetizer, the baguette, $30. I agree, a little bit overpriced. It was great. It tasted great, but you'd think for $30 it could at least give you a baguette. I mean, how much does a baguette cost? A couple of dollars. That would have made it a lot better. But in fairness, it had the truffles on it, so that's probably what made it a bit more expensive. If you're coming, I'd probably get something like the chicken fingers for the appetizer. I saw those, they look good. Probably a bit more, definitely a lot more filling, I'm sure, more protein. Both of the entrees were good, but we still felt like they were a little bit small. We were still really hungry. The dessert was kind of the saving grace. We ordered 3 desserts, the grand dessert platter, the chocolate mousse bites, the beignets, and the bread pudding. They were all amazing, and they were very filling. They were very rich.
I was just going to say that I'm so excited. On side note, I did walk 27,000 steps, but with the dessert, I negated that. But that's okay. The dessert is worth it. It's worth it. It was so delicious. Just wanted to let you guys know that.
For our third and final night, we had dinner reservations at the Eiffel Tower restaurant, and we were hoping this would be a fitting grand finale to our trip. We intentionally made our reservation to coincide with the sunset, and this ended up being perfect. We were also fortunate to be seated in a spacious and elevated booth, which provided an incredible view of the Bellagio fountains. For a complimentary starter, we were given a cold broccoli soup, which was a nice touch. And then we ordered the warm rustic bread with black sea salt butter. We were off to a good start. Next, we ordered this salad with blue cheese that I don't see on their online menu, but it was excellent. And for entrees, we ordered the prime aged New York steak, as well as the chicken savoyard and the potatoes au gratin. Both of the entrees were incredible, starting with the chicken. The steak was even better, and it was cooked perfectly, medium rare, exactly as requested. With this spectacular of a setting, this place could easily get by with mediocre food. But that definitely wasn't the case, as our entrees really did exceed our expectations. For dessert, we ordered the chocolate souffle and the white chocolate banana Elise. We were also given some complimentary candies, which was another nice touch. I was really looking forward to the souffle, but it actually tasted a bit bland and was kind of a letdown. The white chocolate banana Elise, or however you pronounce it, was off the charts delicious. Our server was also kind enough to offer us even more complimentary candies, which we couldn't resist.
So we just got back from dinner at the Eiffel Tower restaurant. Erin, what did you think?
Overall, great food and great view.
Very positive experience. Would not recommend paying the $40 extra per person to sit in one of those small tables along the window. We had a booth. Aside from the cost, I would prefer that. It was more comfortable. We were elevated. We had a lot of space. Great food, excellent service. Loved the steak. Loved everything. The desserts were both very good. One thing that I would do differently is I would still order 2 desserts, but I would not get the chocolate souffle. The white chocolate banana elise, I think it was called, was surprisingly better than the chocolate souffle. I wouldn't have expected that. That was excellent. I would recommend that. I would like to try perhaps the chocolate hazelnut cake or the meringue if I was to go again. That's what I'd recommend. Love the candies that they offered us. Nice touch. The little broccolini soup appetizer. Great service. Overall, I think this is, you can't go wrong if you're staying here, even if you're not. Very positive experience we had at the Eiffel Tower restaurant.
I would share that we've been to the Foundation Room. We've both individually been to the Stratosphere and now the Eiffel Tower. And of those 3, the food is by far the best at Eiffel Tower. And although Stratosphere and Foundation Room, you are higher and so you can see a higher elevation, being in the Eiffel Tower restaurant, it really feels like you're in the center of the strip in a snow globe. So overall, loved it and I highly recommend it.
The casino at Paris is definitely one of the nicer and more unique casinos that you'll find anywhere on the Strip. With a dreamy sky blue ceiling and Parisian-inspired architecture throughout, it feels as though you are somewhere far removed from Las Vegas. And it's also quite big, with over 95,000 square feet of gaming space. Although to me, it feels smaller and more intimate than many of the larger casinos on the Strip. From old and new machines to a wide assortment of table games, you'll easily find what you're looking for here. $45. There's also a relatively large sports book if you want to watch and or bet on the games.
So we didn't realize when we booked our trip that the Paris pool is actually open here in the beginning of March, which is pretty cool. Right now it's only about 60 degrees. We didn't plan on swimming. We didn't bring our bathing suits, but still went out there, checked it out, wanted to capture a little bit of content to show you what the pool is like, especially if you're gonna be staying here during the warmer months. And overall, the pool's nice. I really like it. It's not the biggest pool complex on the Strip, but you still have a large round pool right in the center. It's a big pool. Next door you have Planet Hollywood, which is kind of a similar pool complex. I would say this pool though, they have Planet Hollywood has 2 pools. This has 1 pool, and I would say this is probably larger than those 2 pools combined. When I was down there, half of it was closed off, but I would imagine when it's warmer out, there's more guests down there that the entire pool will be open. So ideally, I would expect you to be able to swim without being right on top of other guests. It's definitely a much larger pool than you have at Cosmopolitan. There's a lot of greenery, nice landscaping, nice statues, a cool vibe, and a nice upscale vibe. You have great views in every direction. So some great photo. This is an awesome pool to be at for photo opportunities, video opportunities if you want to get some content, or if you just want to be away from technology and you just want to have nice views to look at. this is definitely a great pool for that. So overall, I don't know if I would say it's the best pool in Las Vegas Strip. It's definitely not. It's not a standout feature. It's not as big as the Bellagio. It actually is similar. I get a similar vibe to the Bellagio pool complex, but it's definitely not nearly as nice as the Bellagio pool complex. It's just not as big. And it's not like a Mandalay Bay where you're gonna stay here for the pool. But I don't think you'll be disappointed with the pool here. I'd love to come back in the warmer months and just have an opportunity to enjoy myself. I think it'd be fun just hanging out in that pool area. So let's talk about the fitness center at Paris. How would I describe it? It's fine. It's fine. It's sufficient. It's really nothing special. It's on the second floor. It feels kind of like an afterthought. Like, hey, no one's really gonna work out, so we'll just put in a gym. And maybe that's too harsh. I mean, you really have everything you need. The equipment's modern, the equipment's nice. What's kind of funny though is we're at Excalibur, and the fitness center at Excalibur is way better. It's bigger, you have nice views, there's more weights. Excalibur had free weights up to 100 pounds, they had bars, nice view into the pool complex. This at Paris has no views. The free weights only go up to 50 pounds. So I thought that was kind of funny. That I never would have expected. But overall, you can see the footage, the content here. It's totally fine. I'm sure it's nicer than other gyms at some properties on the Strip. So just wanted to cover that briefly here in the video in case that's something of interest to you.
Before I give you my final rating, let me mention that they were renovating the exterior of the Versailles Tower while we were there. So if you do end up staying in that tower, I would imagine it'll actually look like a renovated hotel on the outside as well as the inside. Now to the important question. With these newly renovated rooms, is Paris Las Vegas now better than Bellagio and Cosmopolitan? The answer is obviously no. Yes, if you're staying in the Versailles Tower, I think Paris can now definitely give them both a run for their money. But objectively speaking, it's still not quite at that level. So with that said, I'm gonna rate Paris Las Vegas an 8 out of 10, which is still an incredible rating, as it definitely surpassed my expectations. And let me say this, even though Bellagio may be the nicer property, taking everything into account, I think the newly renovated rooms at Paris are more or less just as nice as the rooms at Bellagio. There were definitely a couple of flaws. For example, the shower door didn't close all the way, and the water wasn't as hot as I would have liked. But overall, I think the quality of the rooms are comparable. And this tower at Paris also has floor-to-ceiling windows. Even though, honestly, I'd have to rate Bellagio higher, I think I actually still prefer Paris, at least in the renovated tower with the view that we had. It feels more comfortable to me, and I think it has the edge for dining options. Maybe not for fine dining, but for the value you're getting. Case in point, Mon Ami Gabi, which may just be the best overall value on the entire Las Vegas Strip. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts if you've had a chance to stay in these new rooms. If you have, make sure to leave a comment below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.